Hi there, I'm John Shields. Welcome to another class of our Farm and Bay to Table program. Really excited to see you. We've been working on this episode for a while now, putting our heads together, figuring out what you might like right now. Okay, so we just had Labor Day, and we all know what that means. I remember, when it was really pulling back from a long time ago, but I do remember when I went to school, and when Labor Day came, it was like, oh no, we got to go back to school. Well, we do, and it's back to school time, and that's sort of what this whole class is about today. Some foods that we could do for kids that are easy, easy for parents. So some of them are snacks, some of them are dinners, things that you could put together, or a quick dessert. So, I'm thinking, who would be best? Who would be the best person in the world to do this with us? And it was an easy answer. It's farmer Joan Norman from One Straw Farm, and I'm really happy to have her coming in to hang out with us tonight. She's going to tell you so much stuff. You better get your pads and paper out, because this woman can rattle off rapid fire recipes. You pick up anything, she'll give you a recipe for it. So make sure you get those pens and paper out there. So, I'm thinking we got little things to nosh on, we have little things to make, we have things to put in the oven, and I need help. I cannot do this all by myself. So fortunately, traffic is bad now. I don't know if you've been out because schools are back in, but our executive sous chef, also known as the CEO of the Harford County Public Library System, Mary Hastler, is here to help me through this class. Mary, come on in here.
It's so good to be here. Hey,
welcome home.
Welcome back. Happy Labor Day.
Happy
and back
Labor
to school.
Day.
I've got my pigtails on.
Look at that. Cute as a button.
Karen in my first grade always wore blonde pigtails, and I was so envious, and I couldn't wear them till I was an adult. So really? I wear them all the time now. Yes.
Well, you should.
This is my secret persona. Well, not so secret if you know me personally, but it's so good to be here. And I love to snack.
Yeah.
And my kids love to snack. We are real snackers.
All right. Well, it's a snacky kind of, it's going to be a snacky kind of class here today. And, again, I was telling you that we got Joan Norman to come down and visit with us this evening. But one of the reasons that I did that, not only is she brilliant, not as only is she kind of like the first lady of locavore cooking or the local food movement here in the Baltimore metropolitan area, she has an interesting farm. It's One Straw Farm that she does with her husband, and it's an organic farm. They grow organically, and they've been doing this forever. And a lot of times people aren't quite aware of what happens when you're working in an organic growing environment. It's sort of like growing things the way that they used to be grown. It's really taking care of the soil and the land, because to have the healthiest food, you really have to have healthy soil. It's all about the dirt. It really is about the dirt. And so if we want to get the dirt on things, Joan's going to be the gal to give that to us this evening.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So it should be fun. Well, why don't we go take a little visit? Let's go out to One Straw Farm, okay?
Awesome.
Nestled in the rolling countryside of Baltimore County, One Straw Farms is a recognized leader in the national farm-to-table movement. Since 1983, Drew and Joan Norman have been growing vegetables with methods that respected the earth and the soil. They were one of the first organically certified farms in Maryland, eventually becoming Maryland's largest organic grower. One Straw Farm has the largest community-supported agriculture program in the state. Members of the program pick up their boxes of produce each week from drop-off centers and farmers markets around the region. One Straw Farms connects Marylanders to the land and to healthy eating. It's a win-win. Hey, Joan.
Yes.
I'm glad to be at One Straw, as always.
I'd like having you here.
Okay, so we're
And we have
talking
a
about,
friend.
and we have a friend, we have Andrew right here, and we're talking about healthy snacks for kids. So, okay, and you always give quick recipes. Corn, what would you do with corn for kids?
Well, that's what we do at our house is we peel it and then everybody just eats it plain just like that. If you take your mask
Really?
off and take a bite, tell me what you think.
It's different than close, but it's not all bad.
No, it's pretty good. Isn't it? Take another bite.
It's the 2-bite rule, right?
It's a 2-bite rule. And here's the next question. Do you eat it around or do you eat it across?
I usually eat it around.
You eat it around.
Me too.
Guess what? I eat across. I'm a typewriter eater. Look, he's still eating it. And we didn't even make him. That's a good snack, right? You would eat that for a snack. And you get credit for eating a vegetable too. That's it. What can I say?
All right, without any further ado, we have the lady of the hour, Miss Joan Norman. Come on in here.
Hey, welcome, Joan.
Hi
How
there.
you doing?
I'm very well.
Oh, it's good to see
Fun to
you.
be here.
It's good
Awesome
to see you.
Fun to be here.
Yeah, it's kind of like old home week. Joan and I have been working together for quite a long time.
It's more than
Over
20 years.
Over 20 years now. And
That's a long time.
it is a long time.
I was only 2 years old at the time.
Yeah, and I was 5. Yeah, but we've been hanging out at the farmer's market for, God,
We have been at that farmer's market
Yeah.
now for 31 years.
you've been there for 31 years.
Mhm.
Is this the Waverly Market?
Yeah, it's the
Waverly
Waverly
Oh, we had so
32nd
much
Street
fun
Market.
there.
Yeah, my son
Yeah.
was born the first day of that market when we ever attended. I missed the first time we
You
ever went.
missed, I was going to say
I
she
missed that.
did.
I
don't think
I
you
was
were there
gonna
for
say
that
she
one.
didn't
I didn't
miss
miss
it.
that. I did miss that.
Well,
But
that
I've
was
been there
good
ever
of you.
since. Mhm.
That's unbelievable.
It's a long time.
And you have
Long time.
so many, and like every Saturday when I go there, there's like a line to see Joan. It's the receiving line, and Joan tells everybody
I like
about
everyone.
everything.
I
Yeah,
like everyone. I
Yeah.
like to say hi. I like to see what they're doing. I like to see what they ate. I
yeah,
like to see the kids, I like it all.
yeah. And the kids love coming there.
They're fun.
They really do.
They're
They
fun.
really do.
If I can-
As we saw just on this last clip.
If I can get them to eat a
Yeah.
vegetable, life is good.
Yeah, Andrew went for the corn.
They are my future.
And that was a great idea. We were at the market and we were thinking, well, what are easy snacks? And Joan said,
We'll try this.
try this, have some corn.
Have a piece of
And
corn.
a lot of people were there like, oh my God, you can't eat that corn. Well, yeah,
Just
you
as good raw.
can. It's just perfect.
Mhm.
Raw, you
It just
don't,
needs a little butter.
yeah, it could be a little butter,
Just a little butter.
but really when it's like right off,
Right
You
off
know,
the cob is pretty good.
it's just so sweet.
All the boys will all snack on that all morning long while they're there.
Yeah, I mean,
And
so
they're-
anyway.
And they're big boys.
Yeah, they are big
They are
boys.
big boys.
Yeah, they're.
They eat more than one ear.
Yeah, they need a lot. So anyway, that was, that was a really good illustration of things that, that you could do for
Mhm.
kind of snacks. And, again, whenever I ask you for a couple of different recipes, well, you come right off with these. So you came up with some really good ideas for things that, they could put in little Ziploc bags
Little containers.
and then little containers that you can
Little
take,
dippy cups.
little dippy cups, all kinds of
Mhm.
things like that. So,
Mhm. I'm
we're-
having practice. I now have 2 granddaughters who need lunches, so we've been practicing at home as well.
yeah,
Wow.
you have a new
And
granddaughter.
we have a new
And
granddaughter.
congratulations.
Thank you very much. She is now a week old.
All right.
So we have a week old, a 5.5-year-old, and a 3.5-year-old. So if I can get them eating vegetables, I can get anybody eating vegetables.
Well, I-
That's the goal.
I've seen you get some kids to eat
They-
vegetables. That's for,
Give them a try.
that's
Give them a
for-
try.
that's
Well, it
for-
looks
2
beautiful.
bites.
I
You
mean,
need
look
2
at that.
bites.
All the colors. I mean, it's just beautiful.
Mhm. They need to take 2 bites of every vegetable. That's the rule.
yeah,
The first
Good
one is
call.
Yeah.
because it could be something like you brushed your teeth and drank orange juice, and everybody knows that tastes terrible.
Oof.
Ooh.
The second reason, and you promise have to not tell my mother, is sometimes your mother's not that good a cook and the recipe's not that good. So you have to find another recipe that you like better.
yeah.
And if you can do that, then you're fine.
I love it.
Just need another recipe.
But I like the 2-bite rule.
2
That's
bites.
interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
Joan does
First one
that.
doesn't count.
We, Joan and I have worked with a program that Riva Khan started. It's called Days of Taste. It's now Taste Wise Kids.
That's what's good. Yep.
And we get together with kids they're usually around 10 years old, 3rd grade, in schools within the city mostly.
Yep.
And a lot of the kids haven't seen a vegetable. They've never, you can hold up like a potato and say, what is this? And nobody knows what the potato is because they usually get it as a French fry or as a potato
Right.
chip or something like that.
You know, what's your favorite food? Pizza. Does any of that come from a farm? No.
No, they say, no, that doesn't come
No.
from our farm.
You have to break it all down. Well, the wheat comes from, the flour comes from wheat, the tomato sauce and the cheese, and then
And that's
never
all
thought
part
about
of
it
the
like that.
Days of Taste.
That's part of
We
Days of
just did a
Taste.
pizza show just recently
Mhm.
based on that Days of Taste thing. And so anyway, the first day, we get local chefs to go and talk to the kids
Mm-hmm.
and get them to taste things, and they go, ooh, and ah, and go crazy. And then the second day, they
They-
come out to Joan's farm. So
come out to
tell
visit.
what happens out there.
They come out, we take a walk around the farm and they get to see like the baby plants in the greenhouse. We talk about how they get started. We'll walk through the fields and see how things are growing. Sometimes there's questions about like deer, or maybe there's a question about the chickens, like what are better for you, brown eggs or white eggs? Did you know?
Oh, yeah.
Which is better?
It's, of course, the brown egg.
Wrong answer.
No, why?
Yep, wrong answer. Do you know what the answer is?
I think they're equal, aren't they?
They're equal. Guess what the difference is?
What?
Brown chickens lay brown eggs and white chickens lay white eggs. And there's absolutely no difference other than the color of
Go
their shell.
figure.
Mhm. Yep, there you go. I said, that's always an eye opener.
Who'd have thought?
Who'd have thunk it?
Okay, but I have a question. What about the double yolk eggs? Are they better than the single yolk eggs?
Only if you want 2 yolks.
Okay.
If you
That
want
was
2
not a
yolks, it's
setup,
great.
by the way.
They happen occasionally. It's usually if the egg kind of gets stuck in the chicken for some reason, or
Oh.
she may have. It's like having twins.
That sounds painful. for
It
that
doesn't. They're
little
usually in the
bird.
same size egg. Generally, the eggs are a little bit larger, but it's not that big a deal.
Okay.
We don't usually have that many double yolks, but we do.
Now,
have
can
brown
you
eggs.
tell if it's a double yolk when it's,
If you candle it and hold it
there?
up to a light. So if you hold it up to a light, you could see the two yolks.
wow,
Mhm.
okay.
I haven't done that. I don't
I
usually.
haven't
care.
done that.
I'm
If you
from the
crack
city.
it
I
open
wouldn't
and
have
there's
done
2
it.
yolks, I'm like, oh, that's fun. We're gonna have more egg, more yellow egg.
Well, on the third day, when they come back to me after you had them, it seems the thing they're really interested in is the compost.
Oh, yeah.
They all talk about the poop.
Well, that's because I tell them that compost is kind of like plant cake. First, now the only place you can talk like this is on a farm, is you mix rotten vegetables, rained on hay, poop from a horse, and you mix it all together. And though I would not want to eat that, plants think it's delicious.
They love it.
So that all gets mixed together. It actually cooks.
Hmm.
It cooks at like 160 degrees for a couple of days. And then we turn it every day and then turn every third day. And eventually at the end, get this beautiful lush compost, which is like cake for plants.
Hmm.
So the kids sort of find that intriguing that you're allowed to talk like that and not get in trouble.
Uh-huh.
And 2 is the fact that they understand something, that all these pieces together, when you cook it, becomes something else.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of magic of cooking.
Yeah, they love that. So that's why that Days of Taste program works so well. And it really does. The kids, the feedback
Like,
is amazing.
They have a lot of fun. They
Yeah.
ask lots of good questions. It's amazing the questions they do ask when they get started. They're not so afraid.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a few minutes.
It's
They
a-
kind of get used to us.
It's a pretty cool thing.
It's fun.
So let's
Fun.
dip. This
Yes.
is we're into a dipping kind of mode. So one of the things that you had suggested was a ranch dressing, because
Mhm.
kids seem to like
Love ranch
ranch
dressing.
dressing, and kids of all ages seem to like
I'm a
a ranch
I'm a believer.
dressing.
Yes, they do.
So anyway, so I have it's a pretty much a basic recipe. It's about a cup of mayonnaise. You could use low-fat mayonnaise. You could use full-fat mayonnaise. You can do anything that you want to do with that. And then some buttermilk.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You always hear about the buttermilk ranch. We're always
That's-
talking about that buttermilk.
That's a little bit
ranch.
of tartness, I think.
Yes.
It is. The acidity from the buttermilk works very, very nicely with that.
Mhm.
And then, just in case we didn't have enough cream there, we're going to
We
put
like
some
those. We like the
sour
white-
cream.
We like the white things.
These are white things. We're going to start, we're getting the kind of the white base here. It's a white sauce almost.
Now, John, I normally don't have buttermilk at home, but if I wanted to make this, could I use the old vinegar and milk trick?
You can.
Oh.
So generally what I do is use 1 to 2 teaspoons per cup of either of whole milk, or you can even use 2% milk.
Okay.
And in about 5 minutes, when it starts to curdle.
Mhm.
Right.
And and I even have friends that they are dairy free, so they'll get a soy milk and use the apple
That works
cider
too.
vinegar
Oh,
I never
just
knew
I
that.
never
in
knew
5
that.
minutes.
I never knew that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely. So you
I haven't
can
tried that yet.
you
Neither.
can do that.
It'd be worth
Okay.
giving that a try.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we have those kinds of things there. Now we're going to put in we have a few little herbs. So this is a Lotsa herba thing. So we have some fresh basil.
Now, these from Gertie's garden?
Yes, most of these are from
Okay.
out back at Gertie's. We have a little
Okay.
Gertie's garden there. And we actually work with the Baltimore City Master Gardeners. They've come in
Okay.
and helped us this season, to take care of things. We have some, let's see, we have more cilantro, parsley. And the parsley that we use in there is Italian parsley, the
Oh, nice.
I like
flat
that
leaf.
better.
It's so much nicer. I mean, the curly one looks okay, but
It feels funny on your tongue.
it does. And the flat leaf actually has some flavor. It
tastes fresh.
It tastes
does
good.
It tastes fresh.
Yes.
Yes.
Fresh and clean.
Yeah. So anyway, so this is, we get a lot of green in this particular ranch dressing, and we
I
have a
love
lot of
watching him
flavor.
chopping.
I'm watching him chop.
Yeah, I
I'm
can't,
taking lessons.
I
for
can't do
this.
that.
I don't get the curl finger thing yet.
Yeah, no.
There we go.
And the knuckle thing, no.
Mhm.
Most,
But
but
I'm fascinated.
it's just kind of a guard when you're doing that, so you don't take off too much of the
Fingernails?
the fingernails, the skin, that.
I'm a fan of that.
Also, for a little bit more acidity, some more apple cider vinegar.
And the
Always like that.
wafting of the herbs is amazing. I
Isn't
smell
it?
it over here. You
Yeah.
just chopped it up.
Yeah, so it just
Okay.
doesn't take much. Then I'm gonna put a little bit, just a touch of cayenne pepper in it.
Not
It's
so much
per-
for little guys.
It's just,
Yeah.
just a touch.
Or if you have an ulcer, you might want to
Because
be a
we
little
don't want to hurt them.
No.
Then we're gonna put
Just
just
for
a little S&P,
Okay.
and then I do have a little bit of dill
Ooh, I like
that we
dill.
have in here. That's very nice. And then
Uh-oh.
I think we have a little bit of,
Garlic.
looks like we have a
garlic.
little bit of garlic in here too.
And
this-
everybody should have the recipe.
this is just a-
registered.
Yeah, this is just about a teaspoon in there.
Okay.
And then Mary is going to do the honors. We actually have
Oh.
A whisk.
a whisk.
That's
whisk.
not going to fall apart in my hands.
It's not our exploding whisk. So I'll let you go,
right.
go to war, Miss Murphy there.
All right, here, I'll send this over here a little bit.
So really at that,
Smells great.
Mm.
it smells
does.
really
Neat
good.
smell-o-vision.
It's really easy to do. And once you do it, you can put it in the Frigidaire, let it stay there. It's good for up to like 3 or 4 days, actually.
Oh,
You did
that's
this, you could
good.
put every day in the lunchbox.
Oh
in a
my
li-
gosh.
In a little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a party with my sister once in New York City not too long ago, and it was I think a 50th birthday party. And the honoree loved ranch dressing, so all the fountains had ranch dressing coming out of them.
Really?
chocolate?
All of
Oh
them
my
instead
God.
of chocolate. Yes. And my
That's
sister who's
amazing.
watching would know who I'm talking about. It was amazing.
That is really cool.
It was very cool.
All right, Joan, now our next thing is we have the ranch dressing.
We have ranch dressing.
Okay.
Ranch dressing live here on
Mhm.
our show.
Looks delicious, smells
So
great.
let's talk about dipping. What are some of the suggestions that you would have? Could you bring that back over here?
Absolutely.
We're gonna need that.
We're gonna
We
need
gotta
that.
We're gonna
dip.
need it. Oh, we got
Try
to dip.
We
That's
gotta do
right.
some dipping.
You gotta try it.
Okay.
All right.
right.
So tell me,
So here's
what are
things
some
to
of the
know.
things that you like to do?
Green peppers are unripe peppers.
Mhm.
Any green pepper will turn a color. It'll turn yellow, orange, red, maybe even black, but it will turn a color. Most kids don't like green peppers that much because they're a little strong. They prefer the colored peppers, like a red one or an orange one or a green one.
And they're
they're
much more
sweeter.
sweet.
They're
Yeah.
sweeter, but
Sweeter.
these are unripe. They also sometimes give people indigestion. But, so most kids are like, but did you know that peppers are higher in vitamin C than oranges?
No.
So giving your
No.
kids a little bit of pepper in their lunch all the time is pretty good. The next thing is,
Cheers.
I put this on my kids in their lunches all the time. It took them about a year and eventually they forget and then they eat it. So, you're gonna throw away a piece of pepper once a day for a year and all of a sudden your kids are eating peppers.
Mhm.
It's pretty good. So we should
And
try this.
I
peppers
think
are
so.
very easy to grow. I'm gonna pick a yellow pepper.
Oh, wow.
Good. That is good.
That is really
They're
good.
missing out.
Mhm.
Now, the other thing with these peppers is they now have these little peppers called lunchbox peppers. If they're boys, they're girls, they call them lipstick peppers.
Lipstick
Oh,
pepper.
Most boys don't want the lipstick peppers, just saying. But that's a good choice. And one is they have little stems so they can dip it and eat it. The seeds in it are minimal, so you don't have to even cut these up. You can just drop them in their lunchbox with a little bit of this and the kids can go to town.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because you gave these to me at the farmer's market
Mhm.
on Saturday and I didn't
Yep.
know what they were.
Lunchbox
So they're not
peppers.
hot, they're just,
Nope, they're
They're
just
just
sweet
sweet
peppers. They're just in a
peppers.
tiny
I'm
size.
gonna have a little bit of
They're
that.
so
In a tiny
cute.
size, yep.
Wow.
Oh
No
my God, they're
seeds.
adorable. lunchbox and lipstick. I
Mhm.
like it.
Lunchbox,
So the trick
lipstick.
with most vegetables is to give it a name that a child will like. If
Okay.
you want to call them firecracker peppers,
Yeah,
that might be more
that might
exciting.
work.
Might be more
Yeah.
exciting
Yeah.
than a lipstick pepper.
Okay.
We have kale, and you've heard of that. But that's curly kale is the real curly one. We have lacinato kale. Most people, if they're short, prefer it to be called dinosaur kale.
Oh,
And then they say, why is it dinosaur kale? And I say, because it looks like dinosaur skin, and then they'll eat that.
Man, they like
I
it.
love
And they like it. So we just
Are
changed the
you
name.
sure you're not a teacher or a librarian by
Well,
trade?
this is my future. If I don't get them to eat vegetables, I have no future.
That's true.
So I want them to
thinking.
eat
Well,
vegetables.
that's
Very
very
good thinking.
true. Very
Mhm.
good
Very good
thinking.
thinking.
I'm
I mean,
thinking
you can even use like raw
Green
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 beans.
beans. I love raw.
They could be
green
mini
beans.
swords,
Mhm.
so
like
you
it.
know what? Calling it swords, magic wands,
magic wands.
right?
Yes.
Makes it way better.
Yes,
If you
it
call it has
does.
a different name,
Doesn't it
then
taste
it's
better when
than
we say magic wand?
Wouldn't you rather have
A magic wand
I got the bag of
A
magic
lightsaber.
wands.
or a
It's a-
lightsaber?
it's
Oh
a
yes,
lightsaber.
definitely lightsaber.
a lightsaber?
I love
Well,
it.
Any of those would be wonderful.
So obviously there's all kinds of things that you can dip. Anything else that you would offhand think is a good thing to?
The only other thing I would say is most people cut up carrots like this so they're a stick. But if you cut them on a diagonal,
Mhm.
they can end up look like chips and they're oval.
That's a
Ah.
good
And
idea.
sometimes they dip a little better
Yeah,
than a stick.
yeah.
And it looks like something, and then it's a shield.
Yes, a shield.
It's a shield.
And I would throw in tiny tomatoes. I love dipping tomatoes in ranch.
Okay, here's the truth.
All right, here's the truth. You're going to hear it
Moment of
live
truth.
here
Live
tonight.
here tonight.
Go ahead.
Tell me.
There's always one vegetable that someone doesn't like.
True.
And it's generally not the vegetable, it's the recipe. I told you that earlier.
Yes, you did.
I hate raw tomatoes.
Oh,
I can't eat the little cherry
Are you
tomatoes.
originally from Maryland?
Yes, but raw tomatoes, but I finally had to tell the kids, if you make it into pico de gallo and you chop it up with onions and jalapeno and cilantro and eat it with chips, I like that. But I don't
Interesting.
like
Okay.
a raw tomato on a sandwich, and I would not eat tomatoes dipped in this.
Okay. I would not put that in your lunchbox.
Don't put that in my
Okay.
lunchbox. I will
Joan does
take
not
other
get that in her
things.
lunchbox.
No.
I'll take the tomatoes.
You can have the tomatoes.
That'd be awesome.
We'll share.
Okay. Because
We
I
can
wouldn't
share.
probably eat the zucchini unless you made me
That's
That's
one of those
harsh.
things. It's,
raw. I'd eat it cooked.
okay,
All good.
we're good.
Oh,
And my
good.
husband
good.
wouldn't touch the mushrooms, but I
That's
would.
fine.
Love mushrooms.
All right, well, let's move these
it out
over
of the way,
and,
Karen.
and let's do some more
Move on.
dipping.
We're
Okay, I mean,
dipping.
Dipping?
that's a start of a dip, but
Okay.
let's do some more dipping. Move that over there.
Here.
We can hand that over
Oh,
to,
to the magic
to our,
kitchen.
to our
Check
magic
out
people in the
Magic
back,
people.
The
the
magic,
magic
the
people,
magic people. Okay.
So now we have the ranch dressing.
all of our Vannas.
We do.
Okay, can I have
Moving
the next up here? Let's
Oh,
bring
yes.
those things up here.
All right.
Now this is exciting. All right,
This is exciting.
this is very exciting
Yeah.
here.
Easy, really easy.
Easy
Really
and
easy.
exciting. Okay, yep. Bring those over here. And then we're just gonna move this up over here. Now that we're not gonna melt it. You probably were worried about us melting the Cuisinart, but that's not gonna happen. Okay, let's go
Here's your
over
recipe.
here where we have. All right, so this was a great idea that I did one time for some kids. A lot of kids like hummus. And I was thinking, could we do like a breakfast hummus? Something that would be kind of fun.
And
So,
fast.
and fast. So, all right. So hummus usually has
Chickpeas.
chickpeas.
These
So
are-
I have just taken some chickpeas. I like to rinse them very, very well, several times in cold water.
Okay.
So do I.
Okay. I do save just a little bit of the liquid that's in there.
Oh.
It's amazing. You can use this liquid as egg whites. It
Oh, I
beats
didn't know
up
that.
into
Really?
huge frothy.
Serious.
Yep.
Wonder what's in it.
Yep. Who would have thought?
The juice of the garbanzo beans.
Then peanut butter.
Can't go wrong with peanut
I'm
butter.
just gonna take a bunch of peanut butter. Put that in there. Yeah, everybody most everybody likes peanut butter.
So true.
Some of
Okay.
that there. I'm gonna put a little bit more in. I really like peanut
He really
butter.
likes peanut butter.
I really like peanut butter. Come on, peanut butter, get in there. All right, so we have that, I have a little bit of oil. Generally, when you're making a hummus, you use an olive oil, but I'm gonna use a canola oil because I don't want a lot of flavor. You know,
Okay.
you wanted something neutral in there. Now this is honey.
I love honey. Can never put too much honey in with peanut butter.
I like peanut butter and honey sandwiches.
Oh,
Yeah,
me
no, they're
too.
perfect. Let's get all that out of here. Come on, honey, get in there.
And I love some of our local honey that's out there.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can find it all over the state of Maryland, local honey. A lot of beekeepers out there.
Yeah. Well, Sybil used to be at Waverly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and she was the head beekeeper for the state of Maryland, actually.
Really? There's a head
Yes.
beekeeper.
Yeah, we
here
have a
in the state.
head beekeeper. All right, so
Okay.
here we go. Just take this like that. You want to plug that
I
on
sure
in there?
can.
It's a really
And
hard
then-
job.
There we go. Dun, 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 dun. Here comes the hummus.
I don't have one of these at home. I only have a blender and a submersible. So I'm always
Yeah.
fascinated when other people have them.
So what you could do, I'll give you this. So just take that and then just do it all the way around. Can I get a little bowl here? I need a little bowl to mix this here, guys.
Do you want to put the salt in there or no?
Okay.
You put a pinch of salt, put
Just
a
a
pinch of
pinch of
salt
salt.
in
There
there.
we go. Give you a pinch.
Pinch. That's a good pinch.
Okay, then we can put that back on. Like so. Come on there. Come on, piece of it. So you want to get it kind of nice and soft
And salt.
and creamy. If sometimes, depending on the chickpea, some of them absorb more and it can be, so just put a little water in
Okay.
if you think it's, but this is looking pretty good
It
to
looks
me.
really good. It's like peanut butter frosting and for cakes sometimes.
Here we go.
All right.
All right, come on. There we go.
Good job.
So if you wanna,
Here's your little sweet,
we can
squeegee.
take this here. Just put all the, that smells like peanut butter, definitely like a peanut
Got a
butter
little bit
thing.
of extra protein in there.
Yeah, we got some extra protein. It's off of here.
Here, I'll give this to you.
There's no easy way to get that blade out of the bottom.
No, there's
No,
not,
it's like
unfortunately.
blenders. I just discovered a good way to clean your blender. This would probably work too. When you're done getting everything out, put it back together, put a little warm water and soap and run it, and it cleans your
Cleans.
blades off. Just a little
Yeah.
tip that I learned.
And it
Thought
works.
And it works. Makes it clean up so much easier.
Go figure, huh?
I know, really.
All right, let me get rid of, put this
Okay.
away here, so, and then
Give
you
you
guys
one.
want to get that
Mhm.
there?
Get that out for you.
Oh, that looks so good.
I guess I'm not
Actually,
supposed to lick the spoon, am I?
You could,
You could.
I
we won't-
just
yeah.
did. All right, so here it says about a half a cup of strawberry
Mm.
preserves. So what I'm gonna do is just take that and just blop it in, okay?
Okay.
And then what we do next, we're just gonna swirl it, just like a PB.
Swirl.
Looks like ice cream with swirl.
Doesn't
It
it?
does, doesn't
Look
it?
at that. So we just swirl that all around.
Mm. And I guess you could use any jelly that your children
could.
prefer.
You could use grape jelly, you could use blueberry preserves, you could use anything that you like. So then you already have, you have that flavor in there of honey,
Mm.
and then you have the sweetness of the preserves. And so it just, it's really cool looking, you know, that whole marbleized,
Think how easy that would be in the morning. Just put some of that on a piece of toast
Yes.
exactly.
and run out the door.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, that's, you
And
know,
then- and then you could feel good about them eating it.
and here, let me just take a little bit of this. You could, if you wanted to, you could just take some fresh pita,
Mhm.
or you could toast pita, or you could go pick up
English
some
muffin.
English muffin, pita chips, whatever.
Bagel.
So- Would you like a little?
Sure.
Sure, absolutely. Never turn down this.
Never turn on
No,
that.
we
piece.
don't,
there
we don't
early.
want to turn that down.
Whoa,
Good, John? Is it awesome?
yes.
I like this show. We're eating all the good
Mhm.
stuff.
Mhm.
We're getting a lot of
Well,
eating in
We're doing a
tonight.
lot of
This is a
eating.
great
It's
time.
really awesome.
Mhm.
That's, I think
Send your
that's,
name in so that you can be guest chef, so that you can eat with us.
Right. Get all
Mhm.
the good things. Make sure you get the right recipes.
this
You have
is
to have-
really good.
You have to have good recipes.
Mhm.
But anyway, it's a nice thing. You can put that in the refrigerator. That'll keep
Mhm.
for
They can
forever.
come home and eat it themselves. They can help themselves.
Exactly, which is a great
Perfect.
thing, because how many times did you come home? Your parents
Your
are
mother
going,
told
you
you
want
have an
something to
apple.
eat, and
How many of us heard, you're hungry, eat an apple?
mhm.
I could see late night snacking too, for us adults. That would be awesome.
All right. So much for dipping. Let's
dipping.
hand our dipping over to
Okay.
the
The magic
the
kitchen.
Vannas,
To the
our magic
Vannas, our
Vannas.
magic banners.
That'll be another contest that we have. You can guess something and you can have lunch with our magic Vannas. It's going to be a beautiful thing. All right. Now,
Okay.
what time of the year is it? I think in many of your gardens, because how many home gardeners every year you put in your zucchini, right?
Mhm.
They all put in the zucchini. Let's grab our zucchini stuff right here. And we should have a whole
Whole
platter.
thing here. We got the whole McGillicuddy coming up here. I don't need that one. Okay.
Oh, oh, oh.
Ooh.
There you go.
This is part of one of your,
This one-
this is one of your large,
This is zucchini. This is what zucchini should be used for when they're this big.
look at
When
that.
they're that big, this is wonderful. This is wonderful.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Have that there,
Okay, and our favorite.
there.
Mhm. And another favorite.
that there.
Mhm.
And let's see, where is it? And the mayonnaise is where?
The mayonnaise
Uh-huh.
is
Uh-huh.
somewhere. We will find that.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
We
It's
can
coming.
get- We can get ready
It's
for it.
coming.
Look, it's coming. Here, I'm going to air off the stove a minute.
Yeah,
We have the burner on.
We
so we're
have the
just kinda
burner on
covering it
there.
up.
all right,
Pre-cook the zucchini.
All right.
all right, here
So
we
John,
go.
what is the name of this?
Okay, so this
Okay.
this came about because of so many people that had way too much
Zucchini.
zucchini. So what are you going to do? You can make zucchini bread.
Makes it.
Everybody makes zucchini bread, which I love, but generally a lot of my friends have like 30 to 40 loaves in their freezers because the zucchini just keeps coming and coming and coming and
Yeah, this
coming.
time of year, you don't leave your window open.
Yeah,
No.
right.
In your car.
No, you don't.
So true.
So anyway, as you see, we have lots of zucchini. Zucchini's coming from everywhere. And then we also have a Farmer Jones zucchini, which is absolutely,
Okay, so how long was this zucchini? It must have been.
it's
It was probably
massive.
about that big.
It's massive.
Massive.
Yes. Let me get one more bowl here so that
Okay.
we can mix this thing together.
Here's our bowl.
Here we
We have
go.
a beautiful bowl. So I can't wait because
All
I've
right.
actually tested these and they're amazing.
So I'll just give you a demonstration of this.
Mhm.
And basically what you're doing is you're grating the zucchini on the
Okay.
coarse section of the grater.
That's
All
the
right.
big whole section.
That's the
big
big
hole.
whole section.
As I described.
So I'm just showing this to you live, just in case you don't know how to do this.
And
I'm-
watch your knuckles.
And
as you get
watch your
left-
knuckles, yes.
That's why a big
If-
zucchini is good.
If
So
you,
true.
and if you have a Cuisinart, that usually
They
has
have
a
a-
grater thing, and you just go, if you're making a whole lot of these, like
Really?
we do at the restaurant, and you can
Mhm.
just go real fast, like, right?
Wow.
Okay, cool. So anyhow, what we have here is
Shredded zucchini.
the shredded zucchini. And what I did with that is I set it in a colander for a little bit, and you want to just put a little bit of salt on top of it. And take it like this and
Wow.
put it in here, like so.
Mhm.
This is like a magic trick, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to take this, I'm going to throw it over and over my shoulder, and then
Right.
it's gone, right? Okay,
No,
one,
no, no, no.
Now,
two.
John, normally we have mayo in this recipe.
Oh, we
but
do.
We're not doing it tonight because we used that in the first recipe, but in the recipe you have at home, you do add the mayo.
All
So just to clarify that for everybody.
All right, so here
Okay.
we go. So what I did is
Did you kind of ring it?
I
Yes.
wring out as much
Much
of
water.
the liquid
Okay.
as humanly possible.
Now, if I had a colander, could I put it in there and then smush it down?
Well, you could,
Tea
but,
towel's
but
better.
usually I
Okay.
keep it in
Tea
the
towel's better.
I keep it in the colander first.
Okay.
Put it in the colander first, and
And then
then
wring it out in the tea
and then
towel.
wring it out.
Okay.
You
You
get more
leave it
pressure.
sit in the colander for like a half an hour,
Okay.
just lightly salted, and the water will just drip out.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of water.
Because I haven't made them yet, but I'm really excited to.
That's it needs it's better if you wring it out. 'cause it's a
It
little bit
does.
drier.
And here's our famous.
All right,
Old
here's our
Bay.
Old Bay enticed with spice, right? So we have some eggs here. We have a couple of eggs. I'm going to put about
Mm,
a tablespoon of Old Bay. And then I have some
nice.
delicious Dijon mustard.
Ooh.
You could use any kind that you want really, but the Dijon gives it a good flavor.
I always think of Dijon as the thing that marries all those flavors together. It doesn't, you don't really taste it, but it makes things stick together. And taste
Yeah.
better. It's like a secret ingredient.
I always think of the commercial from the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Please.
The Grey Poupon.
So we have that little bit of lemon juice
Okay.
Mm.
is very nice with this as well. And then we have some fresh parsley.
Uh-huh.
You put that in here first or in there? Oh, you put it in there.
Yeah, just put this is like the batter.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to take some of the panko breadcrumbs here and just put those over top. It's almost for this, unlike a crab cake where you're just putting a tiny little bit in.
Mhm.
This, it's almost a ratio of 1 to 1.
Okay.
So if you have 2 cups of that, you want to have about 1 cup of that. See, like so. And then you just take, you get a little fork here, whisk this thing up.
This is magic drawer. Everybody has a magic.
Yeah, you
kitchen.
got to
He's got
keep
a
the magic drawer. That's really
And
And
nice.
that's where the
Treasures
magic
in
whisk
there.
is housed.
And the
right?
magic whisk. We have so much magic around here. It's unbelievable. Okay. So basically, so really, you just made a crab cake. Think about the zucchini as 2 cups as a 1 pounder of crab meat. That was your crab meat. Then you're basically making a crab cake batter, you know, with your eggs and mayonnaise and all the seasonings and flavorings.
Now, when would we, if we had the mayo with us, when would we have added that now?
With the eggs.
With the eggs,
Yeah.
okay.
There we go. Look at that. So just put a little bit more of this in here.
Mhm.
And essentially I usually after, it's kind of like when I make crab cakes, I put the whole mixture together and I let it sit for about an hour before I form it. Because if you're putting whatever binding in, it takes a little bit of time for that to kind of
Stick
suck
together.
up. Yeah,
That's in your recipe for Gertrude's crab cakes.
Yeah.
Aunt Gertie's, yep.
yeah. So there we go. So that's essentially our basic thing. After it sits for a while, it kind of gets more congealed. So
Okay.
we'll pass that over
To our
there.
Magic people.
And if our magic people will give us our magic pasta pot, that
Magic
would be
pasta
really
pot.
sweet too.
Magic pasta pot.
We love our magic pasta pot.
Our
Here
magic
comes-
people might have to carry magic pasta pot in if it's hot.
Yeah, here comes magic
Here, I'm
pasta
gonna
pot.
let you, Josie, carry that right in.
Here we go.
It's okay. Put it
Here's-
right here. This is our help. This is our executive sous chef
Yeah.
that's behind the scenes.
There we
you,
go.
Josie.
Thank you,
Awesome.
sous chef.
Thank you.
All right, great. So we just have to get this ready for our next recipe because we don't
Okay.
want you to have to stay all
No,
night.
well,
You know, we
we'll
got
keep
time.
eating. It's fine.
All right, let's go back. Let's focus. Okay, focus. All right, now we have all these things that we just made. These things will get this all out of the way.
Okay. Thank you.
And then we can get into actually making this little dish here. That too, we get rid of this and this and this. And we're good.
We're good.
Okay, so now the batter that we have here that has been prepared and has been
Ready
sitting,
to
this
go.
does have mayonnaise in it and everything that it normally would have. Now, when I'm usually going to make these, we call them, I can't believe it's not crab cakes. And when I'm going to do one of those, I sort of take it like this
Mhm.
and turn it sort of into a little crab cakey thing. Like so. See,
Nice.
That works.
very
I like
nice.
the way the twisting motion.
Yes.
Except
Except.
And then you take and you put that like so, and then you have
Wow.
a,
little crab cake.
that would be normally. So, but then Joan was thinking about
These are
another
little guys.
little thing that we could do,
Mhm.
right? So
You
I'm
can
good.
make them smaller.
you can make little tiny bites, so they could
Right.
just be bite size, or you could take them small, like so. And then if you guys want to make your, well, you might not want to do it like this.
I think you're doing a really good
You're
job.
doing
of
a
getting
great
your hands
job,
dirty.
John.
Yeah, see
You're doing a really
how
good
I
job
do
of
that?
Great
getting your hands
job.
dirty.
I'm taking one for
Yeah,
the
I'm
team
watching the
here.
pot
I'm
boil.
taking one for the team. So basically, I'm putting it on the plate and starting to roll it into kind of like a cylinder.
I think
Wow.
they're easy to pick up.
They're easy
I
to pick
agree.
up, and I think kids would really like that, you know?
Mhm.
And so you can you're using less than you would use to
a
make
big crab cake.
for the big crab cake, and you're just rolling it back and forth like so. Boom, ba, boom, ba, boom.
And this is Parmesan cheese.
No, this is
No.
panko
Oh, panko bread,
breadcrumbs. This
excuse
is the
me.
panko breadcrumbs. And then we'll put that there. And then we'll do one more
Okay.
because we always like to do things in threes.
Threes are
Threes
good.
is very important to do things in threes. It's the magic number. Okay, just here we go.
But looking at the amount, you can make quite a few out of
You
these.
can.
Now, can you freeze these before you cook them if you wish, John, or no?
What I would do, actually, I would cook them first.
Okay.
Let them come to room temperature,
Mhm.
then put them in a bag and freeze them and just reheat them before
Okay,
you're
that would
ready to
work.
go.
I like it.
Because otherwise they'll get too wet.
Right,
Mhm.
because they're vegetable
Yeah,
based.
they'll get too wet for you.
Now, would
Okay.
this be considered a vegan or vegetarian dish?
It
No.
can, it
No.
could be.
Vegetarian, not vegan.
Okay.
We have the one that we do here, the thing that we do here at the restaurant is
Uh-huh.
we use this thing called energy egg replacer.
Okay.
You beat it up, froths up just like an egg. We use
And then it would be vegan.
vegan-aise, which is a mayonnaise that
Nice.
just doesn't have egg in it, and then it becomes a vegan.
Okay.
It's possible.
So there you go. So Mary was talking to me, you know, I have never used an air fryer. I'm sorry, I never. So Mary said, you have to try the air fryer. So we did actually, and basically hauled out the air fryer that's been in the corner for almost a year, got the instruction booklet out, and Mary, what happened?
Well, we cooked
We
them.
actually cooked them,
We
and we
did.
actually have
They're beautiful.
They're beautiful.
little zucchini stick
Yep.
cakes. Yeah,
400
good
degrees for
name
about
for that.
7 minutes
We need a
or
good name for
so.
that.
Yep.
We're gonna need a good name.
Zuki-
Depending on the
Zuki
size.
sticks.
Zucchini
Yeah, but
sticks.
I'm gonna try this like next week. I'm gonna put this in the air
Okay.
fryer and try my very own. I can't believe it's not crab cake in there.
I love it. I
So-
love it.
yeah,
They
so
turned out really nice.
They really did. They did. So that was a great idea.
I think they're
I
fun.
like that. I like
think
that.
they're
I like that very much. And again, so for this one, you know, you could use the ranch dressing. That would go very,
that would
very
taste
nice.
nice.
Yes,
That'll be
you
a
could.
wonderful thing to put those in. So,
I think we should taste this.
all right, come on, get in there. I'm gonna wash
They're
my
really
hands.
good.
I'm the
They
one
are
that
really good.
had my hands in everything. So you two work on
Yeah,
that.
they're like you can make it as an appetizer, you can make it as a meal. If you're vegan, you know what to use to do the substitutes. It's amazing.
That's good.
It's good.
That's good.
It's really good.
That's good. I would eat them again.
All right.
Mhm.
I like it.
I like to think that the little ranch dressing wouldn't be bad either.
No, that'd be
So
really
true.
good with it.
We'll have to do that later.
All right, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll do that next.
All right, we'll get this stuff out
Okay.
as we
We
work
Throw the
it.
zucchini next door
Yeah, as we,
for the neighbors.
yeah.
The neighbors
Just
love
Don't leave your
these.
car
things.
open. We're in the neighborhood.
Okay.
All right, do some of this here and some of this here. Get this back here.
She's gonna hand you my stuff.
And I'm gonna
All
just
right.
wipe this down a little bit.
Now, John, let me ask you, I never asked this question yet.
Mhm.
Do you clean as you go, or are you the type of chef who waits to the very end?
Oh, my God.
I can tell you what I
That's-
do.
that-
I
that's
want
a-
to see what
that's-
he
That's a
says.
frightening thing. Okay, what did you say? You said you are
I clean
you
as I
are-
go.
but you said you are what was my,
Executive sous
what do I
chef?
do as a job?
You're a
Chef.
chef.
Chefs don't have to clean up
Chefs
after
don't-
themselves.
I
Okay,
mean-
before you became a chef, did you clean up as you cooked?
I did. I
Okay.
tried to do that as I went.
I bet your
But-
mom and your grandmom and your aunts taught you that.
They did.
I
They
bet.
did.
And he decided he didn't want to do that anymore, so he became.
That's
Well,
why I
you
became a
sous-
chef.
Yeah.
He didn't like doing dishes.
That's true.
Because then you usually have somebody following you
To clean up,
behind
yeah.
and they
Awesome. I have
clear up.
no one except 2 little puppies right now who will follow behind as I drop things.
Do they clean up?
Yeah, I bet they will.
They will. They're going to do something. All right. So we did some dipping,
Some dipping.
which is a good thing. We did our little hummus, and then we came up with our mock crab cakes.
Mhm.
So
Sneaking those vegetables.
one
in.
of the recipes that was one of the first ones that you
Mhm.
rattled off one
Years ago.
Saturday that I just absolutely love. I've talked about it for years. I've showed a lot of kids it, and
This actually came from one of our customers.
Joan always said it's so hard to get kids to eat their greens.
Mhm.
So what do? How can you going to get them to eat their greens?
So here's, a friend of mine taught me this trick, is you boil kale in the same pot as pasta at the same time. So whatever the kale is losing by being boiled, the pasta is absorbing kale water.
Oh,
So it's making it a familiar flavor without them realizing. That's number one. The other thing is, in the beginning, I use rotini pasta and chop it up kind of like confetti, so it's small. So it's really hard to pick out the little pieces.
Yeah.
They'll pick out chunks. So you leave a few big chunks in there that they can pick out. And the little ones are like, I can eat that one, you know. And then we basically make buttered noodles. So it's, garlic, butter, Parmesan cheese. Sometimes we use sausage or shrimp or chicken or
Yeah.
whatever other ones you want.
Yeah.
It's basically buttered noodles that has kale boiled in the water at the same time. But I said rotini pasta.
Well,
They're
let's
not going
pull
to go
some
through.
of this
Alright.
stuff up
They're
here.
not going to
Here
go through all
we
the swirly things.
beautiful bowl.
Yep.
Squirrely
This-
pasta.
Swirly pasta.
Squirty
Beautiful.
pasta.
Swirly
Wow.
pasta.
The like rotini is very nice.
Parm.
Look,
Garlic.
look, look.
Whoop, whoop.
There's some Parmesan.
And the nice thing is, pretty much can be done in the same pot. So once you boil the pasta with the kale in it,
Yeah.
then when you pull it out and drain it, you put it back in the pot, butter melts, and you throw it all back together again. It's pretty easy.
It ain't not so bad, huh?
So you have two pans. I would only use one, but that's okay.
Well, the reason that I have two pans is because of something that I saw that you had talked about before, that you could take a pan, put olive oil in it, heat it, put garlic in it, and then if you wanted to add something else to it, like sausage
Mhm.
or chicken, do that there. And then when you toss it all
Together.
together,
It's all done.
boom,
Whoa.
you have dinner.
Whoa.
Dinner's ready.
All right, here you go.
All right.
And a fork.
So tell us about kale. I mean, and tell us what other is there any other greens that,
I mean, you can do this with kale. I like kale the best because it doesn't shrink like spinach does.
Yeah.
Spinach tends to
pretty.
shrink into a little clump and get kind of slimy. It makes your teeth squeak.
does chard do the same thing or?
No, chard doesn't do it so much, but if you're going to use chard, I generally would chop up the stems in that frying pan with the
And saute
and saute
that?
the stems first, and then
Yeah.
you could do the leaves in there and dump it.
Okay.
I said the idea is that instead of having just plain boiling water, you're having boiling water with vegetable greens in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
You have a
grab
pot
this-
holder.
Sure.
Grab that out of here so we don't hurt anybody there.
The only thing I would do is chop up some of this a little bit smaller.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Do some little minced.
Watch John chop again.
You want to do it? There you go.
Okay.
Just so it's like sort of like confetti, so it's small.
Oh, that's small confetti. Okay.
Really, really small.
Really
'Cause you're trying
small.
to get little guys to
Okay.
eat something that they don't really want.
Right. Right. I got it.
And
So
you want
it's
little
kinda
pieces,
blends
like
in.
these little tiny pieces stick
Let
in
me
there.
grab
then they
my
forget.
crab platter here. And I'll just take some of these here.
Mhm.
There we go. It doesn't, you just need a few pieces because you're trying to trick them into eating it.
Okay.
See, just little
Some of
pieces.
that.
See, those little pieces are great.
I'll grab a little bit more. And
Oh, you don't have to do, that's it.
Is-
Even having big pieces in there is fine
is it?
because they're going to pick them out.
They're
and
gonna
that's
pick
all
them
right.
out.
The
Yes.
first time they pick them out, the second time they'll probably eat them.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll
But
give
that's
them,
probably almost enough to do about, because we're trying to get them to say yes first.
right.
Nowadays, at my house, my children are now in their 30s. I would use 2 or 3 bunches of kale because
Okay.
everybody doesn't mind it anymore and we can use a lot more.
Sure.
But we're trying to get little guys to say yes
Sure.
first.
And husbands.
And it could be husbands too,
So you do it little by little.
little by little.
You're
And
kind
you
of
can always-
training them.
Like
There's
this tricking
training, yeah.
part. This
Yeah,
is
it's like
awesome.
training
Do
them.
we want to
That's-
put this in here?
Yeah, why don't we
Okay.
throw that in there?
Watch this. This is really, all of it can fit in here?
Sure.
Okay, we measured it.
Uh-huh.
It's not my pot. And then watch this. I'm gonna do this
Wow.
at the same time. Look at that.
No
It's
salt
really
or
hard.
anything.
Look at that. This is not easy.
It's
But you
really
could
hard.
probably do this
And
in
then
your
you-
own
And
home.
watch, you can really even, if you want to be fancy,
Uh-huh.
we could
Stir
stir the
it.
pasta just a little bit. Right? But
Mhm.
see, the kale's getting softer. It's
Yeah.
cooking a little bit and whatever it loses by being boiled, you now have in pasta.
I love
It
it.
it goes
Even
right
if they
into the
take every
pasta.
single piece off, you can be satisfied that they're getting a little vegetable that they don't know about.
Okay.
Mary, could you hand me the olive oil? That would be
Oh,
lovely.
yes. And look at the make of the olive oil.
So we do have the Dimitri olive oil. That's at the
Local.
farmer's
Family
market.
favorite, yeah.
Yes.
It is a family
Family
favorite.
favorite.
So we're just going to put a little bit of
Sort of
olive
can't
oil.
have too much olive oil.
You can't
I
do too much.
totally agree on that one.
Can't have too,
So I'm gonna
especially if
put-
it's good.
Gonna
Oh,
put some,
yes.
and
Especially
this
their
is
olive
good.
oil. It's good.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to
I
take
picked up a few flavored ones at the market.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really
a
nice.
little bit of garlic in there, like so.
Mm.
And you don't have to cook the garlic like a lot.
No.
It's just
Just sort of
heating
heating
it
it up.
through.
You know, if it gets to be brown, it gets to be too much.
And then you could do this with no meat. You could do it with sausage or whatever. We just
shrimp.
have some grilled chicken here.
Mhm.
I'm just going to chop some of that
It
up.
doesn't really matter.
I'm just
and,
thinking ahead.
Leftovers.
Leftovers.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you have things that are left over, meatballs left over, anything.
Right.
This
Boy, does
is
it smell good in this kitchen.
It does. It smells really good. Kale smells good too. So it's awesome.
it does it.
Mhm.
So I didn't mention this before, but when I put the water in, I did salt
Yes,
the
that's right.
water. One of the most important things to do, besides not overcooking the pasta, is to salt the water. If you don't salt the water, the pasta has no flavor. It is just,
I've learned that.
it's,
That's chemistry
Flat.
again.
It's
That's
flat.
chemistry
You
again.
should say I've made the mistake more than once.
yeah. So, and you know,
It's not the place to cut out salt.
at work, you
I
know,
agree.
if you know, everybody's making pastas and they're putting the thing out. I mean, I can taste it in 1 second if the water has not been salted. It's like, where's the water? So just heat this through like that. I'm gonna put a little bit more of this in
Take
here,
care of
just a
yourself.
little bit of olive
can't.
oil.
We
You
won't
know,
argue.
It won't
decorate.
hurt. It won't hurt. Like so,
This looks so pretty.
doesn't it?
It does.
And the nice
Never
thing
thought.
is, I mean, it's you know, like
Yeah.
you got your pasta, you got everything all in the one time. You don't have to time when you put the greens in
Sure.
or anything. It's just done.
Even if, when this is all done and cooked, if you have leftovers, and you may or may not, you can even add a little salad dressing to that the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
And you could eat it cold. See,
You
I
could
love
eat it
cold
cold.
pasta.
That would be
It is
awesome.
cold.
Love, love, love cold pasta.
Yeah. Cold pasta, cold pizza,
Oh my gosh.
all
yes.
those cold things.
If you have leftovers.
If
if
you,
you have
if
them.
you,
If you
that's
have
a big if too.
If
Right.
you
All
have
right.
leftovers.
All right, good.
How's her?
How are we doing with everything? That's
We're doing
sauteing,
pretty
simmering.
good. That's just about
That looks
ready to
beautiful.
go. I have
You have a
have
colander
a
ready?
colander in here ready,
Okay.
You
I'm
have
gonna
the
let
pot
somebody
holders. You
else
want us-
hold the,
and I'm gonna do the
here's another one.
I'm gonna do this so that y'all don't get burned.
So if you want, give me both of them. I can do it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Opa.
Never used an aluminum pot before, boil. Flat iron.
It's heavy.
It's heavy.
It is. Now, this is an old fashioned pot.
It is.
This is the Guardian pot.
That looks like an inherited pot.
It is. It was my grandmother Gertie's.
We have one that looks like that, but it's round and has a big lid on it. We make sauce in.
Okay, so right here, I have our Guardian pot.
Mhm.
And then in here, I have a colander with all kinds of pasta and greens. So I'm just gonna toss
Back.
that right into there. Look at all those greens
Look at all
going in
this.
there.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Like so.
One more dump.
One more
One
down.
more dump.
So to stir that around, then have all the beautiful olive oil and chicken, like so, right?
It smells
And
heavenly.
then I'm gonna put, how about a little bit of cracked black pepper?
There you go.
You guys want to do that?
Go ahead.
Sure. Like this? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Awesome.
Pepper grinders are all unique.
They are.
Aren't
You have-
they?
you have
They
to-
are.
There's so many
I think that's
kinds.
enough.
Yep, I think
Okay.
that's good. I'm just gonna put just a couple handfuls of cheese in just to start it. Just
Okay,
to start.
Just to start.
Mhm.
Stir that all
It's
around
all
like so,
melting.
like
It's
so.
beautiful.
And then we're just gonna put
You
this
can see
right.
there's a few little pieces that they might eat around,
I could see that,
but they
that
probably
was
will eat some of the
clever.
little pieces without.
When
If they can scoop one or two
Yeah.
out, they'll eat the little ones.
Yeah.
And
Put the
that's kind of
taste
thing.
together. That's,
We do like
Yeah.
that.
Now, I do have one other trick sometimes.
what's that?
Well,
us.
if I'm really trying to get somebody who's short to eat something like this for the first time, I told you this trick. I've been known to put sprinkles on things like this
Sprinkles.
because cookies don't really need sprinkles.
Right.
They're already sweet, they taste good. But if you want somebody to eat that who you think really isn't going to, and you put sprinkles on that because they're 7 years old, they're a little confused about why that would have sprinkles on it.
Wow, this is
So I have been known to do that as
beautiful.
well, just to convince somebody it
beautiful.
tastes good.
All right, we're gonna put
All right.
that off and we're
There
gonna
we go.
throw together the quickest pie
In the
you have
universe.
ever put together.
Okay.
It's gonna be the fastest
you
pie
wanna
in the
get one?
world. Okay, let's get rid of these here.
Okay. We're getting
Like
so
so,
efficient with
like
this.
so, like so.
We're gonna
You want to
move
grab that
pasta.
for me? Okay, perfect.
All right.
Let's take all that out
All
and
right.
let's get this pie
All
done.
right.
Where's
This
my little pie pan
pie pan.
that we're gonna put the pie on?
Mhm.
No, not that one.
The empty one.
The
And
empty
a bowl.
one.
And a bowl.
I need the empty one.
Okay.
We have a cookie sheet.
Ooh.
All right, here we
Yeah, I
go.
like the feel of
Here we go,
those.
here we go.
And
Okay, so here we go. All right, sometimes you come home, you're in a hurry like we are right now. You know, you've had the hectic day, the kids are
Screaming.
screaming, we need food, I'm hungry, I'm
Whining.
hungry, I'm hungry. Is that pasta done yet? So all you have to do, you didn't have time to make your own pastry. Just go get some pre-made pastry at the grocery store. And then we're going to take some apples like so. First, I'm going to take some cornflakes. This is from Emily Zoss,
Black Rock.
Black Rock Orchard.
Black Rock.
So this is actually called a slab pie. So I'm just going to
Are they
take these.
cornflakes? Just regular
They're
cornflakes?
cornflakes.
They don't have the sugar on them. They're just
Nope,
cornflakes.
just
Okay.
cornflakes. So we're just going to go just like this, like so. Got it?
Yep.
Then I have all these apples here that we put together, and we're going to put some sugar in it. I usually like put about a cup in, and then some cinnamon,
Cinnamon.
just like so. And then I have some butter. Nothing like a little butter with it, right?
Butter's always
Okay,
good.
I love that block of butter.
That's a block of
real
butter.
block of butter.
So you just take and you're just flavoring, really, you're just flavoring the apples and the sugar and
With the
everything
butter.
with,
With the butter.
with a little bit of butter.
Now, John, we started with these apples, and it's assortment of apples that we peeled.
We peel
and
and then we
Or-
slice them. You could
Okay.
slice them, you could dice them. And then I generally just put them into some lemon water. So
Okay.
you could get that done ahead,
Uh-huh.
like we tried to do today, right? And then I'm just going to mix everything together, all the sugar, the apples. You're making an apple pie, but the cool thing about it is this slab.
I
thing, you know?
love you saying that. It's
just,
awesome.
just having a slab apple
Okay.
pie. I love the whole concept of it. So what I did is I
That's room on the edges.
left a little room around
the
the edges with
edges.
that. Then we're
Okay.
going to take my apples like so,
Okay.
lay these.
Oh, I see endless possibilities with
Uh-huh.
this, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you could put all kinds of
Endless.
things. You could have walnuts, you could have raisins, you can have
You can even add little pear slices if you're in pear or figs. I'm into figs these days.
figs, any of it. I mean, really, honestly, you could just put just about any
Oh my
of that
gosh,
there.
it's beautiful.
So we just hold that thing there.
Mhm.
And then I'm going to get my second little pre-made pie shell thing here.
Nice.
Come here, little thingy.
Now, were they frozen and you thaw them?
No, these actually are fresh. I
Fresh,
mean, you know,
okay.
you get them in the refrigerator section,
Okay.
and they're pretty nice. I
They
mean,
are nice.
So we
Exactly the same size. Imagine that.
just exactly
Imagine.
the same
You don't have
size.
to have the rolling pin out.
No,
and guessing.
So then we're just going to take that, put that right
Put the
over
blanket
top,
on.
put the blanket on the top,
Mhm.
and then just match it up as much as you can or
Uh-huh.
cannot. Hold them together
And you
like
can do
so.
funny things around the edges too,
You can.
and little designs on it.
If you're
If you
in a
have
hurry,
cookie
though.
cutters.
You're in a
Yeah, we're
hurry.
in a hurry. But if you were in a hurry, you could
You could do like so.
do all sorts of things.
You can go like boom, 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 boom.
This is
boom,
going to be on
boom,
my
boom,
Thanksgiving
boom,
table.
Like
I
that,
can
like that.
guarantee
Look
you.
at that. Look at that.
Awesome.
There we go.
And
Then I'm just
Mhm.
going to take a little bit of more butter
Can't hurt there.
Can't-
and slab that on the top because it is a slab pie, is it not?
Uh-huh.
All right,
Keep
thank
slapping
you.
it. Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to take a little bit like this
Decorations.
all over top of it.
Now, is it
And
ready for the
voila,
magic
it's going to
oven?
go into our magic oven.
Okay, magic oven.
And ladies and gentlemen,
And here
the
is
magic
the
of
finished
television,
product.
we have an apple slab pie right here. How about that?
That looks
It
delicious.
looks beautiful,
I think that is
John.
absolutely
Just
pretty
beautiful.
cool.
Delicious.
So
Perfect.
Mm.
how is that for putting together easy snacks, easy recipes for kids going back to school?
I think that's.
What do you
great.
think?
I think it's great. I think we have meals for a week almost.
I think we
think
do.
we
I
do
think we're,
too.
I think we're doing quite nice.
Oh, now, John, I forget something. We
Yes?
have this little bowl. This looks like a little sauce. What are we supposed to be doing with
Well,
it?
actually, what I could have done with that
Uh-huh.
is it's like milk
Mhm.
and you could just, I used butter instead of the milk.
Okay, got
But
it.
you
So
could, you could
on top?
either use milk on
Mm.
top, then the sugar.
Okay.
And I thought we had that big thing of
Big-
butter.
big
I
thing of
love
Why
it.
not? We should just go for that, right?
Exactly.
Perfect.
So anyway, I think we got you all set now for school. It should be a good year. You're all going to get great grades. You're going to be healthy as imaginable because, you know, we have Joan Norman who shows you the way to do it. She grows the healthiest vegetables in the entire metropolitan area of Baltimore. So again, it's going to be a good year,
It's
right?
going to be a good year.
It's gonna
Thank
be
you
very
so
good.
much,
Everyone's
Joan.
gonna be
Thank
well.
you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But while we have Joan here,
Yes.
we have time to have some questions and answers, because if you want to know it, think of any vegetable, think of anything you have. Joan's got the answer.
All right.
Just make it up.
Let's see
Okay.
what questions we have. All right. This is from Cynthia. She'd like to know, how do you recommend cooking other than an air fryer?
Okay, so normally, Cynthia, what we would have done for this, there's two different ways that you could do it. I generally saute those. So after I've rolled them in the panko, I have the oil nice and hot. I don't use an olive oil. I like to use, again, a neutral oil so that you can get, it has a high temperature and you can make them nice and crisp.
Crisp
You
on the
don't
outside.
have to deep fry them. You could, but you don't have to. The other way to do it is to take just a sheet pan. I take a little, I get a spray bottle and I spray olive oil on it on the outside and just stick it in the oven. And within 20 minutes, it's nice and crisp and it's not real greasy.
Mhm.
So that's
Nice.
another way to do it.
Awesome. All right.
So you don't have to have an air fryer.
No, you don't. But if
No.
you do, that's fun too.
Yeah.
All right, Joan, this is for you. This is a fun question. Do you have a favorite vegetable that you like to grow?
Well, I have to tell you the truth. My husband grows it and I sell it.
Oh, the inside secret here.
But he
All
he
right.
would tell you probably his favorite two things to grow are chard and peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah, now peppers aren't always, like this was not the best pepper year, but chard he likes to grow because it's easy, it doesn't get a lot of bugs, not too many diseases or problems. But peppers are kind of fun because you have so many varieties and flavors and colors
Mhm.
that they're just fun and it's kind of rewarding. Eating wise, I would tell you kale's probably my favorite.
I love kale.
Kale is, I
love
can.
kale.
I
can do a
love
lot of
baby.
things.
I'm a baby spinach kind of person,
You
but
know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
do kale too.
It does it. Spinach,
Has a
you
taste.
cook it, when you cook it, it gets slimy and makes your teeth squeak and you get this big thing of spinach.
I guess
and
I
it
like my
goes down to
teeth
a
squeaking.
Tablespoon. And I
Squeaky,
don't like that.
squeaky teeth.
Spinach-
The next time I
kale
eat it, I'm
doesn't
going to
shrink.
be looking for the
You know,
squeak. I
uh-huh.
promise. Uh-huh.
It's got so acid. But the kale doesn't shrink and it like, if you try to do that with spinach in the pot, it would probably just get clumps all over the place and the kids can pick it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I like the kale better.
Yeah.
It holds better,
Okay.
better in soup and that kind of stuff too.
All right. All right. Here's another question. For the I can't believe it's not crab cakes, are there any other vegetables besides zucchini that you can use, John, or that you recommend? Now, you might have noticed John was in the news this week for a different type of crab cake that he's been experimenting with this
Oh,
year.
that's true.
I know. Are you going to mention that?
Almost got me in trouble. I could have been burned at the stake as a Chesapeake heretic.
And he's from Baltimore,
And I'm from
guys.
Baltimore. I did a recipe because I've been thinking about how expensive crab meat is right now, because we try to use Maryland crab meat. And crab meat wholesale can be like $45 a pound. For other people, I have some friends that just made some crab cakes the other night. They got 2 pounds and they were $75 each. So that was $150 to make crab
Wow.
cakes. I think that's high right
That's
now.
high.
So I was thinking, well, what else could I do to kind of stretch that? How could I stretch that protein? And we do this dish at Gertrude's for brunch, and it's called the Foo Scramble. And we use a organic tofu, and I was futzing with it. And when I was doing it, I was looking at it when I was breaking it up, and it looked like pieces of crab to me. And it had the same texture as crab. And as you know, tofu does not have a real distinct flavor. It's
No.
very neutral. It takes on whatever you pair it with. So I thought, I'm going to try this. So I did. I used organic, locally grown local tofu, and did it a 50-50 ratio with lump crab from Clayton's down in Cambridge, Maryland. I used the Gertie kind of recipe, the mix, a similar, just a regular crab cake mixture with it. And oh my God, they turned out so good. They so
Just
good.
don't tell anybody.
So anyway, you could, it just stretched the whole thing. And so somehow
Did.
it was in the Sun paper this
Yes.
week and on NPR's Morning
Mhm.
Edition. So everybody's calling me about the thing. But even with that, you don't have to use 50-50. You could use less.
Mhm.
A guy called me and was telling me about, some kind of like cremini mushrooms and
Wow,
local
that's an
things
idea.
that you could actually chop up and use that kind of as a filler. And again, that's sort of locally grown. There's a number of different things that people use to make kind of vegetarian crab cakes.
I tried it with lion's made mushrooms once.
Yes. So that
Those are
would
a
work.
little
So
different.
really what you're looking for is texture and mouthfeel.
Okay.
When you do that crab cake batter and you have the Old Bay and the eggs and the pepper and all the kind of stuff, usually whatever you use will take on that flavor. The only difference is you're going to need to use more binding, meaning more breadcrumbs than you would with just the crab cake.
Do you think you could use a spaghetti squash if you didn't have a zucchini, but you had spaghetti squash?
I don't
maybe?
think
I
so.
don't think so.
You
I
don't
think
think
it
so?
would
Different
too,
texture?
Too watery.
it would be
Too
too
watery.
watery. It would
Okay.
just go
Okay.
like
No,
that.
I
Yeah.
would not recommend that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would not recommend that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good questions. All right. We have another one. What can you use instead of cornflakes in the slab pie?
Okay, you could use,
Oats.
yeah, you could use oats in it. One of the other ones was, it said you could use wheat flakes, just plain wheat flakes. They don't have any sugar in them. Or you could even use Rice Krispie kinds of things.
The idea with the cornflakes is to absorb some of that stuff. So it's something to absorb the sauce, correct?
It is, because when you make an apple pie, you usually put something in there. It could be a little bit of flour, it could be a
Right.
little cornstarch, something to absorb all that
The juice.
liquid as it bakes. So that's really what the cornflakes do, but you could use wheat flakes, you could use oat flakes, you could use something else, and it'll do the same thing.
All right.
Yeah.
So Joan, we have one more question for you. If you were on a desert island, what is the one vegetable that you would take with you that is not kale?
Ooh,
I know it's not tomatoes.
not tomatoes.
I'm gonna take John and I will take the
Probably
tomatoes.
wouldn't be tomatoes.
What would you take?
I know, I'm thinking, part of me would say onions, but I think I get tired of that pretty quick. I think I'd stay with one of the greens. I'd probably take chard.
Chard. Okay, that's a
I'd
good
probably
one.
take chard.
What would you take, John?
Hmm.
Vegetable.
It would be probably a Swiss chard.
Yeah,
I love Swiss chard
It's easy.
because I'm not allowed to say kale either, but
Right.
kale is
It's
like
easy.
one of my favorite things. But I love chards.
Mhm,
I
It's
really
easy.
do. And if I could have that with a sweet potato, I would be really happy.
I
I haven't
love
even
it.
thought about the potatoes.
Yeah, that would make me so
I haven't had
happy.
really, we just started.
Oh,
digging
right. We didn't
potatoes.
talk about potatoes. That's right.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes. That's a good one, John.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can live a
Good.
long time on sweet potatoes.
Uh-huh, you
Okay.
can.
That'll be good. thought
And I
about that.
think that is the end of our questions. Oh, one more. Oh, and but you answered it. What was the purpose of the cornflakes in the slab pie? And that was to absorb
Uh-huh.
some of the
The liquid.
delicious juices and liquids.
And
and
it's
things.
also almost a little crunch into
Crunchy.
it, which I like. It's got a really kind of
Mhm.
cool juxtaposition thing with that.
And another tip, did you know if you're doing driving, like on I-95 and going for a couple hours, eat something crunchy, it helps you stay awake and alert.
Stay awake
Another
on
tip.
95.
Another
with-
tip,
with
just saying, when
crunch,
you mention
with
crunchy,
crunch.
it works.
So while I'm here, I just want to thank everybody who helped make this possible. Obviously, Harford
Absolutely.
County Public Library and the whole team there do just an amazing job. And Joan for being here and for
That's
One
fun. It's
Straw
fun.
Farm. And
And for John being here and
yeah,
letting us
John.
use his beautiful kitchen,
and
Magic kitchen.
magic kitchen.
And we got some beautiful apples from Black Rock, and then
do.
Brooms
Mhm.
Bloom. We got some things. And we got things from all
Oh,
over the
okay.
place.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. Remember, these things are available throughout the state of Maryland, no matter where you live. There's a farmer's market, there's organic growers. Explore it. What's the website?
Farm stands.
Uh,
It's marylandsbest.net.
There you
So
go.
you can find out what's
Yep.
growing, when, in season.
Yep.
Get ye to the farmer's market. Get ye to the farms.
And
to the
pumpkins are
farmer's stand.
coming. Pumpkins are coming.
Or go to your local independent markets
Mhm.
and who are
Yes.
working with the farmers. And because when we do it, remember, when we do that, we have a lot of power. And it's the power of the pocketbook.
Mhm.
When we spend that money in the neighborhood and in the community, it stays in the neighborhood. It
Yes.
stays in the community. And when farmers like Joan, who are growing responsibly and care about the health of the soil, that money actually goes back into the soil,
Mhm.
and we have happy dirt,
They've had soil.
happy soil.
Happy
soil.
soil. Yay. Happy
Dirt's
soil,
under the rug,
everyone.
Soil's
Yeah.
in the field.
So anyway,
Thank you.
we're gonna have another episode coming up. I believe that's on October 7th.
Thank you,
October
background
7th.
folks.
And it is a Maryland seafood extravaganza.
Oh.
This is the one you've been waiting for. So don't miss it. Sign up. And until then, happy cooking and get to the farmer's market.
Yay.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Mm.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.